And the monkey flip.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Amazing Skill Modelers Across the Pond Hangout. I am Jack, and I am your host extraordinaire for the Amazing Skill Modelers talk show. I mean, this is a talk show, after all. We do a lot of talking and showing and all kinds of stuff. So, Amazing Skill Modelers. Excuse me?
Who called Jerry Springer to the set?
Yeah, why don't I send you the script? Maybe you can finish it. All right, Amazing Skill Modelers is a Google Plus and Facebook community of skilled modelers reaching across all skill modeling genres and mediums to encourage friendships from around the world. And today we hope you will find it to be an important source of information about the hobby, hear about something new, and see firsthand the skill modeling experience. Joining me today are the usual suspects to help me kill time in doing these things. And if you want to join us, or can't join us on camera or by voice, the live chat is open. I am there. I'm going to say good morning momentarily. So bring your questions, comments. All are welcome today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and suggest. Okay. The weather is not cooperating. It is not spring here. They're calling for snow flurries for tomorrow morning where I live. So I was able to rattle can paint a base for the Falcon, and I was able to do that last weekend, and it turned out pretty good. But it would be nice to have good weather, but I don't think it's going to be working now. Anyway, so what do I want to bring up? You know how long we've been on the air? I'm going to put this question to all you old timers. You know how long we've been doing this?
About 3 minutes.
What's that?
I said about 3 minutes.
It's got to be, what, about 5 years?
Yeah, it's 4.5 years. I was just thinking about it this morning. I'm like, God, I've been waking up every other Saturday for 4.5 years and doing this. It's like, it's unbelievable. And in fact, I did number all the episodes up to this point. I think this is like what, number 120 or 121 or something like that, as Amazing Skill Modelers. And but back when we were Amazing Plastic, oh God, Amazing Plastic. I don't know if the numbering system would work the same. I think I doubled up on the numbers. But I think I got that straightened out, and I singled out the numbers. I think we are now doing more. We have done more under this brand than the previous. So, because the reason I'm bringing this up is I saw a video saying that YouTube had dumped like 8 million videos. So I quickly went to see if any of our talk shows were dumped, but no, they're still there. So if you go back in time and view them, you'll see the faces have changed, and the skill levels have changed, and all this stuff. It's actually, yeah, it's actually a lot of fun to see what we look like 4.5 years ago.
I remember seeing from when Jack was in the basement to now where he is now. And I'm going, I saw that episode where you were still in the basement, Jack. Yeah. And I'm going, my God, was it that long ago?
Actually, I'd say the first 2 or 3 episodes was in my dining room.
That I do remember.
Having all those windows, me thinking of having all those windows, the lighting would be pretty good, but no, it was pretty terrible, and I was terrible too. I was actually kind of nervous, and I didn't know how this stuff worked. And ever since Google Plus has changed it, I don't know, dozens of times. Before we were able to add sound effects, we were able to take snap pictures of each other on camera and whatever else. There's a lot of things we can't do anymore. But what does this have to do with scale modeling? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so moving on. We're going to visit Bernie first. How you doing, Bernie?
Hi, Jack. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Bernie.
Hi.
Bernie.
Hi. Yes, not been doing a lot, really. I started the...
Okay, moving on then.
started that D7. Haven't got much further with it because I've been... did a few experiments the other night to find out how to strip chrome off of plastic.
I know exactly how to do that.
Yeah, well, now I do now. It's pretty heavy on the fingers, but I found some stuff. I'm not sure what it would be elsewhere, but in the UK,
you use bleach or drink. Ooh,
is that back to front?
That's like
is that reverse?
That's like killing a fly with a tank.
Yeah, but it only takes 30 seconds. But the varnish that's underneath the chrome, that's a little bit more difficult. Anybody got any ideas on shifting that? All
clad.
What?
All clad's good for that.
Oh, all clad, yeah. Can I do you think I'd be able to paint over the top of it, or am I going to have to strip it off? I've got some parts here that don't look too bad, but they've got the sheen left on them after the.
They'll still paint up.
They'll still paint up, Bernie.
Oh, that's okay then, because I didn't want to start messing around with a load of other stuff. In that case, I'll carry on using the drain cleaner. It's 30 seconds. That's all it takes. It strips off. No problem.
Yeah, 30 seconds for the chrome to come off, and then 30 seconds to shine it up again.
Yeah, it. You don't want to get it on your fingers, by the way.
Little caustic.
No.
It's nasty stuff. But yeah, I've been stripping chrome off those parts. I've done a little bit of fiddling around with putting some lights in the thing. I expect you saw my photograph that I put up. I've decided to go completely non-Canon and put some green lights and everything in because I think it looks better. I've been buying lots of stuff rather than doing stuff. I bought myself a new spray booth, one of those collapsible type ones.
One of the fold-up ones, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I haven't actually put it to work yet, but I'm just waiting for some new paints to arrive. But and I've got a bid in on an airbrush on eBay, but that's about it at the moment. It's all preparation and no doing anything at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
How about the rest of you guys? He said, passing the buck. Yeah, I finished.
Well, that's up to Jack. Depends on which way we're going.
Well, that's it, Bernie? I know electronics mayhem.
Only that I've decided to give that a bit of a rest for a while. It's going to get too stressful.
Of course.
Make your hair fall out.
There's not much left to fall out.
A little bit there still left.
Yeah, you want to hang on to that.
Not for much longer. I got the traveling barber coming tomorrow, so I might put a filter on the top of it for next time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just looking at your workspace. I love it.
Well, this bit here.
Yes.
Actually, it's in the middle of being redesigned. I'm going to build myself a wooden workbench. So,
I can see it's being redesigned.
Yeah, what's going on behind it? Yeah, it's. I'll just. It's nothing to see here. Move along.
Put up a green screen behind you.
Okay. I don't know. I just thought I'd maybe put you on a spot there for a little bit. Anyway. Before every across the pond, my attempt is to quickly look. I got up early today, and I get up early to prepare. And part of my preparation is to see Lou's video. So if you want some good entertainment, no, good tips and good suggestions. And now in this current video, he's having interesting issues. So we'll be getting to him momentarily about what those issues are. But he does have a video, so do watch his videos. He's got good videos. I also look to. Oh gosh, this isn't it. What happened here? I also look to do the community covers. Where are they?
Well, I did see the space shuttle one before.
The community covers. And of course, I don't have the names of these folks. I do. This is John Martello.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is on the Google Plus community. John is building a very large space shuttle, and this is something James thing.
Yeah, he's been working on this for quite a long while. He's on another board that I'm on, so I mean, yeah, he's been working on this for quite a long while.
This is pretty much scratch built, huh?
Yep, it's about 4 feet long.
Oh, just he has a picture standing next to it. It looks like it's 10 feet long. So 4 feet long makes it what scale? Do you know?
That is certainly not a 172 scale or a 144 scale. That looks like a 134.
It looks like almost even a 16 scale, or you know.
Yeah, I think it's like I think it's like about 1/16th or 1/20th.
Yeah.
How about if we just pick the friggin'
That scales my F1 cars. 1/20th.
Well, the space shuttle is a wee bit bigger than a Corvette, you know.
Yeah.
Just a wee. And so if you were to scroll down on the Google Plus community to his set of pictures, there's a picture of him standing next to it. But he's got an extensive set of pictures of the bay, the cargo bay. This guy is just going really hog wild on us. And what I like about it is all the tiles are numbered. I don't know how accurate that is.
And he's got the right number for the right tile on every location.
I don't bloody believe it.
He's got tiles are all numbered, and he's got the exact number for each tile in location.
So, Bernie, don't try this. Peakless.
Oh, Jack was mad with his LEDs.
Oh yeah, he's going to be calling you to have you light it. Okay.
That is dedication. That is dedication. Seriously.
You know, I could share the other pictures, but I'm just encouraging you all watching and you all here just to scroll down on the Google Plus page and take a look at his photo set. Very, very good photo set. And the next one is the
it's the world's most elaborate piñata.
Yeah.
Really. This is the Facebook community cover. You got your F-14 Tomcat and the Lunar Lem. Lunar Lander, probably Eagle One, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, real space is a theme of one of our 3 community builds: nautical, wood build, and of course, real space. And so we are honoring real space, and also Brett Harper gave us this. He calls it Grumman quality. And come to think of it, it was the Grumman Corporation that built the Lem and the Tomcat. So
why is he showing us both their backsides?
I mean, that's a whopper of a backside.
You know, it's funny you should say that. Or make observation of that. There's other pictures from the front angle, front angle.
Okay.
But they weren't as low. The camera wasn't as low on the subject matter. It was a little higher up. And besides, I don't know.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah,
yes.
It'd be nice if they were looking off into the distance or something, but just with a white background, it's odd.
Well, you know, for all people, do I have to tell you to use your imagination?
Yes, you do, because I
He hasn't had his coffee yet, Jack.
It's the weekend, and I put my imagination aside for the weekend.
I see. All right, very good. Moving on. How you doing there, Harry? Unmute yourself.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Harry.
Hey, Harry.
Great.
Harry.
What's you got a nice cozy little work area there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I take pictures of it every now and then and post it just to, I don't know.
Make us jealous. Yes.
When it's like Workbench Wednesday or something like that, I'll take some pictures and stuff. Actually, it's freaking filthy.
That's actually a good idea. Workbench Wednesday. Is that a group thing at another group?
In one of the motorcycle groups that I'm admin on, it gets posted every now and then. It's not a regular thing, but it is kind of neat to see what's on people's benches.
Right.
And I'll take 2 or 3 shots and put them together like in a panorama so you can see what I'm working on. Haven't built any motorcycles in a while. I got delegated to work on. I don't know if you guys can see this too clear or not, but this kind of stuff.
Oh, the Warhammer? Yeah.
Warhammer.
The Age of Sigmar specifically.
Oh, I love that Sigmar.
And let's see. This is one of the ones I just completed.
Oh.
Not long ago.
One of the tree bears. That looks like one of the tree bears from Lord of the Rings.
Hey, well, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that's pretty doggone close.
God, I'm a geek.
You're out. You're out, Heath. Out.
There's that little dude.
Oh, neat.
Cool.
That looks like Tree Beard carrying one of Harry Potter's.
Now, my better half son is playing the game, and he doesn't have time to paint the figure, so I got delegated with the task.
Nice.
Well. So I'm not the only one.
Not that I'm complaining.
Well, yeah, seriously. Yeah. So no motorcycles as of late.
No, not recently. You guys, I know you've seen my bikes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back there.
And I just haven't been working on them lately. The last one I did was the where's he at? One of the big sidecar models that I got from a guy, actually across the pond.
Yeah.
He gave me a good deal on one, and I thought it was too much of a good deal. And then when he went down to ship it, he found out just what kind of a good deal he gave me.
Yeah.
Would that happen to be free postage?
No. Well, it was free for me.
Oh, free for you? That's the good stuff.
Oh, he included the postage in what? Okay. All right. What he asked from you, he included the postage. Okay.
Yeah, and that shocked the heck out of me. So I've just been working on figures for, I don't know, the past, a couple of months now. It's a big army.
Yeah. I heard.
But I mean, they're fun to build, and there's no, unlike with cars and motorcycles and stuff like that, there's no set way to paint anything.
Yeah.
You can just kind of let your imagination run rampant with them. So that's fun.
I didn't realize that. Well, I'm not very familiar with Warhammer. I'm a fallen nerd, so. Yeah, but in all seriousness, you can paint a car, a boat, a ship. Well, in relative to what it's supposed to be, but it's always nice to, like when I did the Steve McQueen Bullet build. Yeah, I wanted the precise Ford color, and I was able to get that. And use the Duplicolor. And I am thoroughly convinced now that when I build a car model, I'm going to use Duplicolor rattle cans to paint it. Paint the body anyway. I've had such incredible good results. Do you do that with your motorcycles?
Yes. I use, on the motorcycles, I've been using either the Duplicolor, or I'll go to the Harley dealership and get the actual color that was used on that. I've still got the box top. This was actually one of the older kits.
Oh, sweet.
From years ago.
Yeah.
And I built that one, and it took me some time to research. This was actually one of the back in the late 70s, early 80s Harley kits that Harley Davidson had Tamiya pull from the market because or actually it was AMF because it was an AMF at the time, and AMF / Harley had Tamiya pull it from the market because they were in violation of their copyrights. So that one is a lot tougher to find than the sidecar models.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, this one was given to me by a guy down in Florida that just flat didn't have the time to build it.
Nice.
So I went to the trouble to get the actual color that was used. I went to the Harley dealership just to see if they had it. And they did not have the specific color available any longer because it's been out of production for so many years. Mm-hmm. So they gave me the next best thing. And it's sitting up by, I can't turn the computer that way.
It's okay.
But I did it in the blue. You've probably seen the pictures of it. I did it in a blue and a white.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not put the tour pack, which is the trunk on the kit.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the usual stripping of the chrome, and I LED'd it up so it lights up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it even lights up.
I gotta say, it's probably tougher to hide the wires on a motorcycle.
Well, I went with these. They're SMDs.
Oh, yeah.
Little bitty tiny chips.
Yep.
And the wires, how I hide the wires on the motorcycle models is I try to make the wires look like they're there to do other things. Like, for example, the brakes.
Uh-huh.
Or one of the lines that runs up to the clutch cables or something along those lines.
Okay. Hide it in plain sight.
Right, right. I mean, you're looking right at the wires, but you think they're running someplace else and they're not.
Ingenious.
Very clever.
No, I don't drill out the handlebars and run them through the handlebars.
Yeah, typist I am not. Just saying good morning to, Carwin is there too. Hi, Carwin. I hope you're feeling better, Carwin. Good to see you. We brought up that workbench Wednesday, and it was Carwin no, it's not Carwin. Yeah, Dirk said Messy Bench Monday, where other sites have Messy Bunch Monday. I think we can start a Amazing Skill Modelers. I think Monday's a good one, as good as any other day, I guess. After a weekend of hell at the bench, and we don't clean up, and I think that would be actually a lot of fun. But maybe we could start a tradition like that, and just take a like a long shot of your workbench and see the amoeba move across the workbench from start to finish.
Look at mine; it's a disaster. Yeah.
A disaster? Hardly. A disaster for you is probably just having a hobby knife just out of like on the other side of the bench or something.
It's off at a slight angle.
Or a slight angle. Yeah. Well, the invariable is that a word? Engineer that you are. Phil, he's even stopped by in there. He's here with us on camera. He's on the live workout. George compliments you for your nice figure work there, Harry. And also Dirk said a new face. Yeah. Tired of looking at us is what that means.
Subtle.
So, thanks, Harry, for stopping by and sharing. I hope you stop by more often. And, hey, if you want to pop in and say something or ask a question, sure, feel free. This is it's a little structured, but certainly if you want to jump in and say something or have a thought or have a question, just go ahead and do it.
I was big on that space shuttle, man. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I bought a space shuttle just now. I don't think it's going to look like that. Yeah, it is. It is a lot of work, and it's all paper. Paper. Before doing these hangouts, before doing the communities, I didn't know paper modeling was a thing. So anytime I see a paper model, I'm just saying, "Oh my gosh, what a good use of a tree." So
there's groups out there for paper modeling too.
What's that, Harry?
There's groups out there for paper modeling too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And some of them put us to shame. Most of them all of them put us to shame because they got to actually make their parts, you know. Anyway, would that be all there, Harry?
Yeah, go ahead and jump onto somebody else because I'll talk your leg off if you give me the chance.
Oh yeah, well sure, absolutely. And you know what? I was just trying to hang on to you for a little while because the next one up is Heath. But hi, Heath.
Yeah, how do you do yourself, Jack?
Here, lots of love to you, mister. Lots of love to you.
Yeah, I have had a really busy day. It started off really bad. Really, really bad. But then it came good. I started airbrushing my McLaren MP 430 from 2015. And the primer I used decided to sort of like, how shall I say, crack the body, crack the paint, just, the primer. It was doing so well. I was doing so well. With my painting part was so well. I did it the best way I possibly could. I finish it. I let it dry, and then here comes the cracks. Just all over the damn car, all over the damn body. I shook up the primer. The primer. I'm not going to say what brand it is because I don't want to give them any bad press. But it just, it really sucked this morning. It just really. I'm going to have to get some metho and try and stripe it back and do it all over again. It is really disheartened. I really was. I couldn't believe it. First time airbrushing that I got for my 40th birthday. Set it up, everything, and then that happens. And I was cursing myself. I really was. You know how you are with starships? That's how I felt with my airbrushing painting.
As you'll find out later, I'm taking the back door on that. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But as I said, it came good. I have finished my 99 thing.
Ooh.
That's pretty.
And guess what? I did not glue the cowling. So guess what, chaps? You get to see what it looks like underneath.
Well, that's
nice.
Cover up all that hard work.
Come on, go. Up you come. There you go. That's a go. Don't break.
You really get to see all.
There we go. There it is. There's the inner workings of the car.
Ah.
This is what the cowling covers over.
Heath, hold it steady for a moment.
Pardon?
Hold it steady to the camera for a moment. That's better. Yay.
So that's the inner workings, and the rear downforce decided to play fair.
You and your downforces.
You have so much problems with that.
I have so much trouble with it. But, it's come good. I'm getting better. But I've got photos up on Google+. I also have done my episode 4 of my hourly model show, which is up right now. Did that today while I was doing this. So this is going to take pride and place next to my JPS Lotus. This is another center build. You can just see that there. This is his 1987. This is his 1987 Lotus. This is before he went to McLaren. And yes, Jack, it's powered by Honda. You're not dreaming there. It's powered by Honda. This is before Honda left Lotus to go to McLaren.
So, Heath, is that thing on the back technically called a hump then?
It is on the camera.
Is it called a hump, that thing at the back?
What, here?
The tail bit, is it called a hump?
No, it's downforce.
Oh, well, why has it got camel written on it then?
It was fun. Take a look at the car, Jamie. What's it say on the car? Camel.
Don't be such a dromedary.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What do you think it is? God's sake. Jeez, people, flaming hell, wake up. Non-F1 fans, I don't know.
I just naturally assumed that the downforce was called the hump. That was all.
No, it is not the hump, Jamie. That is called the rear downforce. In 1987, the Lotus team was sponsored by Camel cigarettes. Okay? It is not a camel with a double hump.
I think he's the one with the hump.
Dirk says, Dirk says he hooked a big one on that one.
And plus, this fucking cunt doesn't spit. Oh, you boys. Unlike normal camels. Can I finish, please?
Oh, we're just doing what you do, so. Yeah, you can finish. You can finish.
Cows, this one doesn't spit. This one doesn't spit when it's angry. It just gets louder.
Well, technically,
it's llama.
Technically, it does spit because flames come out the back of the exhaust.
Back out of you, Jamie.
In all seriousness, Dirk said that he saw the body of your last video. I don't know what that means, but it looks like you pulled it from the corners and such. Is it possible you didn't wash it well before painting it, or maybe a little heavy-handed on the primer?
Well, I don't know. I washed it, and that was only one coat. I was not very heavy-handed with the primer. Just a light spray. I didn't do a heavy spray first off.
Yeah.
I just went back on the airbrush.
How long did you leave the primer to cure?
I left it for a good 5 hours.
You should have left it for at least 24.
Maybe.
Even when I put it down for 5 hours, Jim, she was starting to crack big time. I could really tell even after I finished. It was starting to crack.
It sounds like it was the primer was not adhering to the plastic.
It could also be, talking from years of experience here, sometimes when you use a primer, and maybe it's a new primer or a different primer, to the paints you use, they don't gel well.
Well, I washed all the. Let me put it this way: I do what I do all the time, particularly with what I did with the camel one here. I washed all the parts beforehand, before I primed it, got everything off, like the flash, everything like that. And then I got some wet and dry sandpaper.
I'm not saying that. Sometimes some of the primers you use compared to some of the paints you use, they react differently with some of the primers. That could be a cause of it.
Yeah, but he said he was getting the crack. He was getting the cracks before he put the paint on.
Was the paint you were using enamel or acrylic?
Well, I wasn't going to say any names, but I was using Gravity Colors, which is an airbrush paint.
Right, but is it enamel or acrylic?
I had a look in the bottle and it didn't say. It did not say. It just said that it was good.
Did it smell? Did it smell like
enamel? Had a bit of a smell to it. It was like a lacquer. It was like a lacquer type.
Okay.
Oh.
If you had a lacquer and you had any moisture in your airbrush line, that could have had something to do with it.
Yes.
Well, the last time I used my airbrush was when I was doing my NASCAR build way back when, and then I cleaned that out perfectly.
Right, but I mean, moisture builds up, and if you caught a water spot or something, that could have caused it.
Do you have a water trap on your brush?
No, I don't have a water trap on my brush, Jim. No, I don't.
What primer did you use? I'm asking.
It was called Gravity Colors. It came highly recommended for like.
I don't know that brand.
Well, the only thing I think the only thing I'm coming thinking about it is the level of moisture. Other than that, you use tempera paint.
Yeah.
Well, I've just decided to stop using that Gravity Colors paint because the thing is, if it's going to do that to my car, if it's going to do that to my McLaren, then I might as well just wipe it off,
right,
start all over again, and just use like a Mr. Hobby or a Hazagara or an acrylic.
Yeah,
I've had no troubles with acrylics whatsoever. Tamiya paints I've had no trouble with. Mr. Hobby paints I've had no trouble with. It's just now I'm going to have to. I hate doing it, but I just absolutely hate having to fomentate the primer off again. I absolutely hate it because it ruins the car.
Right.
You never get a clean stripping.
Right.
And let me put it this way: I'm actually seriously thinking of getting another body because the thing is, she's ruined. It's absolutely ruined. The cracks are actually. I'll go get it.
Yeah, there's also Dirk also brought something up too that I've noticed as well. Moisture can build up in your tank as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's unlikely you cleaned out the clean out or air out your tank in between uses. Maybe not doing every use, but I have a moisture trap.
yeah, I have one in my system too. I got a water
Buy a little mini one like this.
Yeah, you can get the small ones to put on your brush. I have a larger one right at my secondary regular.
Smaller cracks.
Right. Oh
That's
dear.
from underneath.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's right.
Now here you go. This is the bigger crack, right there. Look at that.
Yeah, it didn't adhere.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't adhere to the plastic.
Mm.
And yet the Gravity Colors stuff came highly recommended. And I only did lightly. I didn't do a heavy-handed job.
Yeah,
I
that's definitely where the primer did not adhere to the plastic.
Is it primer?
But see, on this side, no cracks, hardly any cracks. And yet I turn it over, and up top there, cracks, right there.
Yeah,
It's like there's release agent still on the plastic.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, Bernie. I washed this model. I washed the parts of the model before I even put it together.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I wash it. I wash my parts every time before I primer. I wash my parts.
Okay.
And then I get some wet and dry sandpaper, and I sand back just so I can make sure that it adheres.
Yeah.
And stupid things like this flipping happen.
Yeah, I think I have to question the ability of the primer, whether that primer is effective or something.
I was really looking forward to building this. I was really looking forward to building this. I was going to do the body, and then I was going to get some flaming carbon fiber and put some carbon fiber on the body and everything like that. Then stupid things like this happened. And then I was just about to throw it.
Don't do that, Heath. Just do what I did with the chrome. Just find something that'll just float that primer back off. Start again.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is a very expensive kit. This is not a cheap kit at all. This cost me $80.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This cost me $80 Australian. I had to twist my wife's arm just so I can get this because I hadn't seen any models of modern day cars. And that $80 is before postage. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, Carwin seems to agree with Jim about the primer. Could be the problem here. And George says you can get disposable spray filter gun filters at most auto parts stores.
I've heard about them.
And and he's going on a release agent idea. And
that was the start of my day. This is the end of my day.
And Dirk empathizes. It happens to all of us at one time or another. Hell, it happens to him often than not, more often than not. Well, Dirk, that's because you're Dirk, not Heath.
Well, thank you for mentioning. I'm flattered. The day started out pretty bad, but then it came good with this.
Yeah.
And I'm really chuffed with this.
Right.
So I'm really chuffed at that. And then after that, I've got my my prototype Jag from the Le Mans 24 Hour that I'm about to start. I had no issue with that with the primer and everything like that. No issue at all.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. I'm never using gravity colors again. No way. That came highly recommended to me.
Mm-hmm.
That came highly recommended to me from a close friend, and who I know overseas. I'm not getting it again. Simple as that.
That was the first time you'd used it, was it, Heath? It was the first time you'd ever used that particular batch. Might have just been a batch, you know. It happened.
I've had that, but the other thing is too, I've had that primer for 2 years just about, and that's the other thing too. It could have been past its use by date, but when I got the bottle, I didn't have there wasn't a use by date on there or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's possible. It's deteriorated as well.
Yeah, so I'm really upset about that. But then, as I said, it came good. I finished my Lotus, and then that McLaren's is going to take a bit of time, I think, because it's just going to.
Yeah. If it didn't adhere well, it may strip real easy. So.
Yeah, I was just thinking Heath, the best thing you can do with that, I mean, I've just looked at the cracks. The paint's on quite solid. The best thing you can do with that is basically get yourself a decent paint stripper. Don't just cloth the paint stripper on, just soak it and let it just come off.
Yeah, I might have to do that, Jamie.
Take it back to the basics.
Oh, I've done industrial degreaser, and it's even taken duplicate color off. In fact, it takes duplicate color off really well. It has a hell of a time with Vallejo acrylics, in fact.
I've got photos of
anything that's like lacquer, enamel base. I think the industrial degreaser does a good job in stripping it. Well, anyway, there's still hope. I mean, you can still, try to get that back.
Yeah, well, I've got a friend of mine coming over who does models tomorrow too, so he's going to have a look at it and see how we can salvage it, because Beck was out there, mate.
Right.
Heath, before you do anything, take a step back, put it away for a couple of days.
Yeah, don't step on it or sit on it.
Big breath and counting to 10.
Yeah.
That always works.
Well, see, the thing is, Beck was out there with me, and she actually had tried it, and it was fine. And then when she turned it over, and I'm not saying it's her fault, it's definitely something wrong with the primer. So, and when it turned over, there it was, big crack, as I showed you, straight down the middle. But I'm going to have to, look, the thing is, I've got other kits to build too. I've got my Excelsior to build and everything like that. So, I just wanted to get my Lotus finished so I can get that over and done with. And I've done it. So, that's going to take pride of place next to my JPS. So, I'm going to take a family photo.
Is that it there? Is that it? Okay. I'd like to share something. You know who the first lady of Amazing Scale Modelers is?
Christina.
Yeah. Now she's got to be building something here that I'm going to share. Yeah, you all see it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, look what Christina's doing.
Oh, wow.
She's extraordinarily limited on space, and it I don't know. It took her a while to get back to something like this, but she's saying that it is a problem. Sun's out, model's out. Maybe I'll finish this one. Don't hold your breath. Well, certainly, Christina, we're not going to. Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, I just thought I just got like a nice warm fuzzy feeling. And out of all of you,
oh, it's a big.
She's the first person that I met in person from our friendly little group for breakfast. She was passing through town, and we shared some breakfast. Sweet, sweet lady, and she is certainly, I'm going to say, the first lady of Amazing Scale Modelers. So she's doing something.
Now, Jack, is it sexist to point out the pink cutting board?
You know what? It's funny you should say that. I didn't necessarily really notice that, but now that you pointed it out, maybe I should get something like that.
It used to be white, but she put it in with something red in the wash.
Yeah.
Is that a 797?
Looks like a 7. It's not a 747.
Nah, it's too small. It hasn't got the big.
Yeah, it could be a 727.
It's not a KC-135, is it? With a large beetle on the tail.
Is it an Airbus 330?
Could be that too. I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know nothing about
Plain to see.
I'm not sure about commercial airliners. Okay, without further ado, how you doing there, Jim?
I'm doing fine there, Jack. It's been a rather slow week as far as the model front's concerned. I've had a lot of other stuff going on that kept my time going. I started doing some work on the Adreno. It's interesting, when looking up for the format, because I'd run across it before on the extended format for the servo control in the Adreno, and yet I couldn't find at the beginning any references in all of my books I've got. But then if I did some research there on the internet and then finally did get an explanation for the whole string. Now, it's interesting when you write the Adreno string that for the servo right, if you see the number, you put the first number down, and usually a comma and then a bracket. Now, if you got a comma, means there's more to the expression. But there's nothing in the Adreno records, even at Adreno's site, that explains the whole expression. But I did find a source that explained the whole expression, because the expression not only gives the angle, but also the speed and a verifier. So now that I know that, because I needed to control the speed. So there's another way of doing the speed that everyone else is doing, which is by breaking the movement up into chunks, and a delay. But that's an awkward way to do it, especially when I find out that the actual speed control is actually in the expression. So,
whose servo library are you using?
Pardon?
You know whose servo library you're using, Jen?
Well, I've got one downloaded and playing as is it Nervo Servo? I think it's called. I can't remember that one.
I know there's the one that comes built into the IDE.
Yeah.
There's also a whole load of third-party ones out there as well. I was just wondering if some of those might serve you better. I'm just having a quick through the list here at the moment. Yeah, there's so many of them that you'd have to try them really. But I've not had any trouble with servo library myself, but I haven't used one in years.
Yeah, but see, I don't want the servo. It can't be jerky. I want a slow movement of the ship.
You don't want a stepper motor or anything.
Yeah, I'm not using a stepper motor. I'm just using a straight conventional servo to do it. But the way if you just do it, put the angle, you get the speed of the servo, so you end up with a fast
quick
movement.
flip. Yeah.
Flip.
Yeah.
I want to slow it down.
Mm.
And
I think you're saying about building in the delays. I think you're going to have to use millis to.
Yeah, but using this format, using the whole expression, I've got that built in.
Right. Okay. Okay.
See, the full expression has the first number is your angle.
Yeah.
Which is 0 to 180.
Mm-hmm.
Second expression is speed.
Okay.
From 0 to 255.
Yeah.
And then you got a true and false qualifier at the end. So it's all there in the expression. It's just not explained in the manuals.
Yeah.
The whole expression is not explained.
Yeah, I'm looking at one now called VAR Speed Servo, which actually it is the standard servo library, but they built in speed control into it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's the one you're using, because that's using the same thing. It's using my servo dot slow move, and then in brackets the position and the speed in just two parameters. Yeah.
There's that one, and there's that one you can use. There's another one that's called I can't remember what it's called now. It's let's see my documents.
We need somebody from RC. Who knows more about RC?
Well, it's not really an RC problem.
Is it? Oh, no, okay.
It's a way of actually driving the servo in a controllable manner. Is what James is really after.
Yeah,
it's relatively easy to move the servo, but moving it under control is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the additional library called Very Speed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, Very Speed uses this same expression. It has another couple of expressions you can use too in that. But the one document that I read that I got this from didn't mention anything about adding additional library. So that to me indicates that this expression is valid within the standard library.
The standard speed servo library that comes in the IDE.
Yeah. It's just not explained. It's like normally it's just something. It's part of the expression, but it's not explained properly in any of the manuals or anywhere.
This is what I've found with people who use Arduino a lot, that they assume that just because they know everything that's gone into it, that everybody who uses it knows the same thing. There's hardly any documentation issue with any of the stuff.
Yeah.
And you've got to go into it and learn the ins and outs of it before you can do something simple. It's like learning the principles of the internal combustion engine before you go out and drive a bloody car.
It's even a simple thing like, how does the format of, when you haven't done it before, of writing the architecture of writing the sketch.
Oh yeah,
they skim over it and don't even really explain. Well, you've got to have a reset, so you have to do a setup thing, and then you got to explain your definition all before you do the others, and they just sort of jump over that stuff.
Yeah, I think they assume that you've already got a knowledge of C+ or C++. And when I found, especially on the forums, they are full of the most supercilious people
that
you can think of. You ask a simple question and they take the piss out of you for not knowing the answer. Well, if I knew the answer, I wouldn't be asking
the question.
They are so far up their own rear ends.
But anyway, but then we found this expression, and that's going to solve it. I've seen a YouTube video in using this expression and how it all works in that. So I'm glad I found it anyway. So that's going to solve that issue because the other walk around that everything on the forums was saying of doing it makes the movement jerky. It's not smooth because they're chopping the movement up like say move it 1 degree, delay, move it another degree, or move it 2 degrees, delayed, and it makes it. It's like making it a stepper motor.
Well, that's what you're telling it to stop every degree, aren't you? Which
Yeah.
you're just going to get a very ratchety movement. You don't want that. Yeah. You don't get ratchety movement using an ordinary RC control. So why should you if you're just controlling it via processor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a kind of a I don't know if this is going to be a stupid question or not, because it's been years since I've had anything to do with servos.
Yeah.
Is it possible to change the gear in the servo and go with a longer run?
You can buy, I don't know, most of them are the way they are now and how cheap they are. You don't have to, like, you used to be able to buy all the gut parts and that for the different ones, but now you can buy servos that are fast and slow. You can order specially a real slow servo and or faster servos. But it used to be you could take the servos all apart and rebuild the gears to whatever you want, but not under the way they are now. They're all sealed plastic. They're just, what you get is what you get.
Yeah, because I'm going back to the days of the Tamiya lunchbox for a racing van thing.
Yeah, well, I did RC for quite a few years.
And we took apart servos all the time to change the gears out to get a little bit faster response or slower response, depending on which way you wanted to go.
Yeah, no, those days are long gone now.
No.
Well,
learn something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carwin wrote, use the expression, work you bastard, and then hit it with a hammer.
Never known to fail.
Yeah. And in fact, when he put that comment in, it was grayed out, and I approved it. So I even said it on the air. So there you go. I mean,
that used to be the philosophy where I used to work. They come around and say, work you bastard, hit you with a hammer.
Well, it's funny to hear this conversation between you and between the two of you, Jim and Bernie, and especially Bernie, when you're saying that you had a question, you went on these forums and you asked the questions, they basically reamed you for being so dumb. I think what's interesting in this regard is that you're talking the difference between technicians and artists, and I think we're more of the artists trying to figure out technical stuff. Yeah, I'd like to see them take apart a airbrush and then make it work right. So
I'd like to be able to do that.
So that therein lies the difference between us and them, I suppose. But if anybody can figure it out, I think Jim can. So you'll figure it out. Is there anything else there, Jim?
That's really all I've got going on at the moment. I want to get this circuit board, this adrenal circuit working. So that's what I'm focusing on for the moment.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I kind of like Bernie. I'm putting aside my electronics because I'm hell-bent and not spending a lot of money on these 1,000 scale models. But if I have to, I'm going to have to for the electronics, because the electronics have already been figured out by Ralph. But it's the journey that I'm appreciating, not so much buying Ralph stuff, which will be, of course, easier. But I want to learn some of this stuff, just as you are. I guess you and I are on the same wavelength when that's concerned. So, anyway, moving on, sharing something from the community. This is Ray Martin, our favorite Kiwi. So from Kiwi land, he's bringing us a Raptor from BSG. Where did it go?
Nice paint job.
Here we are.
Very clean.
So, and I think his photographic prowess is very cool.
Yeah.
No, maybe not so much that picture. A little bit exposed.
It gives a false sense of
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having the sky as a background. You know what? I'm thinking the reason he's doing that angle is because he's on the underside of the planet and everything's upside down there.
Yeah.
But turn the photo up the other way.
He's much closer to the sky down there.
Yeah, here's a good one. Here's a good photo. Very deceptive as far as scale is concerned. This could be very well real, and his work is impeccable as always. So even if you're not into sci-fi, if you're doing copters or planes, certainly taking it outside on a somewhat sunny day with the clouds in the background and taking pictures like this and making your stuff look that much more real.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this does look like it could be on the TV screen, actually.
I've seen, when you talk about doing a perspective in with your models and the real scenery, maybe I can pull it up, but I don't know. There was a picture that was done with a car and a figurine as a model, and it was done out in the guy's backyard, and it looks like it's real. Mm-hmm. It's just unbelievable the way it was such a well shot video. Oh, love that interior. That is great.
Oh yeah, his work is really. Let's pop back to that. Can I zoom? I can even zoom. Look at that. He's got enough pixels on here.
Yeah.
He did mention in his post, work in progress posts, about having the interior being a problem. I think, Lou, you answered him on something. I could be mistaken, but you built this kit too.
I have. That's very clean work he's done.
The interior is pretty tough, isn't it?
It is. It's like building a Rubik's Cube from the inside.
Oh, dear.
God.
But he succeeded. He has succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
And his, of course, paint and weathering is pretty darn good.
Oh, that's a neat trick he did.
What did he do?
He put the green and red lights. Of course, they look backwards, but that he's under the other side of the planet. So.
But that's true. That's true. This picture's upside down anyhow.
Yeah. he did those as red and green marker lights. That's interesting.
Yeah. Now red is port, which is left, and green is right.
Oh, it's a yellow to me.
It looks kind of yellow, yeah.
But I can see the intent. It's lit. It's supposed to be a lit green or something.
Yeah.
Looks like a lime to me.
Looks like a coconut.
A lime in the coconut. Yeah.
Yeah, one.
Very, very nice.
Nicely
very
done.
Nice, sir. Ray, thank you for sharing on the Google Plus community. Moving on forward, moseying on down the yellow brick road here, we've gotten Jamie. How you doing, Jamie?
Hi, guys. I've had quite a busy week. As you know, I'm working on the Franklin, and I'm still waiting on the lighting kit for the TOS and this one, the Franklin. So that's in the post. Ralph has assured me, so that's coming on its way. In the meantime, I decided to scan the internet about the Franklin, going from Lou's version of the Franklin to what people assume and think the Franklin looks like brand spanking new. The contrasts in the colours are horrific, to say the least. I had scanned some of the series with the Franklin in, pictures of it. Most of the ones are like the ones that Lou showed me of it being derelict on a crashed site. So I decided to think up, how am I going to paint this? Do I want to go to the extreme where Lou went and had the design of it, the crashed look with the aged look, or do I go with the design where people have simulated to the box art, where it's this really shiny, silvery color? And I thought, well, going on other starships that I've built within the sci-fi Star Trek universe, I don't think it would look like that. So I've gone to the stage where I want to do it where it's not brand spanking new, but it's just 2-3 years out of the dock, the dry dock. So it's been out there, it's done some action, and it's relatively still new. And so I went for this look. I've got to be careful because it's not put together. So I went for this look.
Ooh.
Oh.
So I have gone for Look at this, look.
That's interesting.
And I gave it, if you look at this, a little bit of a copper sheen on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that is I wanted to give it a bit of depth.
Uh-huh.
So this top coat I've done, I thought I wanted it to be, I think the actual ship would have been more of this color with a gray, with like the sheen of like a silver coming through.
Yeah.
You see
Makes
it?
sense.
And what I use for that is the gray color itself is a mixture of colors I've pulled up myself. I just got various different grays, tried them out on a blank piece of plastic, and I eventually got the one I like. But the final coat, if you can see this, yeah, so it gives it that bit of a silver sheen.
Right.
So if you look away from it, it's totally grey. That was, it's one of those fluky, I'm going to take a chance of this, see what it's like. So I decided to opt with a pearlescent white.
Okay.
And with the mixture of the green with the greys, it came out with that silvery look. But it doesn't go in your face when it's in normal light. And I think this is what the ship might have looked like if it had been like still in service and still being used. What do you think?
Are you going to do any sort of wash around the bridge to bring out the detail?
I've got some bits of touching in it. I've done a little bit of the thing.
No, yeah, I see the highlighting, but I'm talking more about the panel lines and such.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't want the definition of the panel lines coming out. I think if you look, they're there.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. The definition on the panel line gives it more of an age look, and I don't want to really give it too much of an age look. I'm trying to go for the. I'm just out of a dry dock 2 or 3 years. I've seen a bit of action, that kind of look, which I don't think anybody's done. This is like the in between look between what you've done, Lou, and what the box art says. It's like 100% silvery looking.
But I can see where it fits in the timeline.
Yeah, and that's what I went. That's what I've gone for. There is no actual.
What did you do on the inner and outer parts of that ring? Is that a white or a silver highlight?
On this part here?
Yeah.
No, that's just a silver.
Okay, so that's a silver highlight then.
Yeah.
Okay.
The inner ring is 4 layers of different colors.
Yeah. Gives it a bit of a bird feather look.
Yeah, I wanted to get that depth of that ring up close, so you could actually, and if you look, it's got a copyright.
Yeah. I like the idea that it plays up and makes it, obviously it's a prominent feature, and it makes it look even more prominent.
Yeah, and that's the look I was going for, which I presume it would be if the ship had just come out of dock for about 2 or 3.
Yeah, because you never really saw what that was supposed to be used for.
No.
I think of it as a primitive phaser strip.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But yeah, and the red is a combination of different colors I've used.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like your ship would be the color you did. It would be as it was like crashed on the planet. Right. And this is the sort of color it would have been when it just been done.
Uh-huh.
So come out of dry dock, so it gives it that. So
I'm curious to see how you do the engines.
Yeah. The engine bits. These are. Hang on. I've got some touch-up work to do on these, but these are the engines.
Yeah. You're upside down. Yeah. You're upside down. You're upside down. There you go.
But yeah.
Jeez, there's an upside down in outer space?
Yes, there is. There's an up, there's a down.
But these have actually got the same distinctive color as the whole.
You're upside down.
Okay.
You're flying upside down. Who are you, Heath?
Talk about rivet counters. Good golly.
Yeah, one rivet, up or down.
I'm holding the upside down, so I was trying to show you the side paintwork.
There you go. So much better.
There you go.
I don't know. I don't know the kit very well. I don't know the ship very well. It did make a difference to me. So.
But yeah, so that's where I'm up to. I'm basically at the point now where I'm stuck with this because I need the lighting kit to continue. But the actual top finish coat on the actual ship itself, it's done near enough. I've just got the bits of touching up to do and fit the lighting kit, and then build the stand and put all the other bits to it in. So you know, it kind of it's coming together. But I've never had a problem with like the building, the painting. Obviously, my problem has been the electrics. So touch wood, everything will go all right with the Franklin, with the Ralph's board. So here goes. And that's it for me, Jack. I'm done.
Oh, done. Very good. We're just speeding through along. We're actually having good time frame as opposed to last couple weeks ago. Anyway, there's a new kit coming on the scene. It seemed like everybody in the UK seems to be getting a little moist about this one. The Citron. As per Al Mesky, this is the Ebro soon-to-be released DS21. It's a must-have for him.
124 scale.
So
that's a car I would build.
No, kid, really?
Yeah, that's neat.
It's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a mirror missing.
There's a mirror missing? Well, how would you know? You got nacelles upside down.
It's upside down.
Pot calling the kettle.
So Al had shared this, and I thought it was interesting. There's been an awful lot. Again, a big drive without pun on words, on the Facebook community of a lot of car builds. So we'll probably share maybe one or two of them before the time is up. But I thought that was interesting in the sense that I can't say I've ever seen a car like that. But when I've seen it, the first thought that came to my mind was the UK.
Citron, they're an interesting vehicle. They have an adjustable profile on them.
Let James.
You can lift it. You can lift them and lower them.
I'm sorry about this. All right. I don't know what you in the US think about the Citroen car, right? But I am going to talk plainly blank about this car. The car is crap. Crap car. The bloody thing rises up off the floor. Its engine is so, and the speed of it is like driving a tank. Sorry, you can call the model what you like. It looks like a nice little model. As the real car, bin it. Throw it off the cliff. Once and for all, the Citroen is crap.
Yeah, but we had models of the AMC Gremlin. I mean, come on.
And for those of us that ever rode in the back seat of a Gremlin, we know how bad those really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Moving on.
I rode in the backseat of a Pinto one.
Might have even been deemed the back seat.
Pintos was like, it sounds like Pintos are luxurious comparison.
Oh,
yeah, the backseat was the
place with their doggone 4-banger Singer motor in it. Oh God.
So how you doing there, Lou?
I'm doing great, Jamie, they made models of the Titanic, and we all know what happened to that.
Yeah. Oh, Lou, this is for you. Look.
There you go. Don't you feel better? Don't you feel better now?
What was that for, Lou? I didn't catch that.
He showed me the model upright side up, and I asked him if he didn't feel better.
What I didn't tell you was my camera's turned upside down.
Oh, are you in Australia right now?
No, I'm in England.
Oh, okay. Okay, I had a few things there, but never mind. Anyhow, tell us more, Lou.
See these? These would be good if you need to start a fire on a cold and winter night. That is the only use for these fire starters.
What, the instructions?
The instructions.
Yeah.
It would be better off if you bought a box home and it had a log in it and a knife and it said whittle your own Saturn V. You would have more help than you would get out of those instructions.
Well, at least that's not one that we'd have to worry about seeing upside down.
No, it's very, very, very clearly pointy bit goes on the top.
Maybe you should work your way. You're working your way from the bottom to the top. Why don't you do that? Go from the top to the bottom. Maybe it'll make more sense.
Look at my car.
I built a car.
I made a car.
It's upside down.
No, it's not. Now it's upside down.
Lou, do you really,
That looks better.
Lou, do you really need
Better, yeah.
Do you really need instructions with a rocket? It's a cylinder. You put one piece on top of the other.
That's it, pretty much. Except for all the details that you stick on the side. No, it's the lunar moduleness of it that is the crap part. I get it. There it goes. It's this guy. It's this guy right here.
That's all right. What's wrong with that?
Well, nothing now because I was able to wrest enough out of the parts provided to make something that looks like a lunar module. And this wee nipper.
Uh-huh.
Is that the dragon kit?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know where I would be dragging it if I had to do another one.
I have heard about the problems with the lunar module and the dragon kit. Yeah,
Let me tell you, they were not exaggerating. Yeah, it's a mess. I am looking forward to starting to paint it next week, though. I've got to put all the striping and the decals and such on it, so I'll be looking for better references than what was provided for that. And this is what's on the bench next.
Ooh.
The Hawk.
The Hawk.
Is that the new re-release one?
That is the new re-release Hawk. This is the original Hawk for scale. It is slightly larger. That's about it. Slightly larger.
My original one.
The head is much better detailed.
Sharper lines on it.
Sharper lines on it, much better, much more better defined. But I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit bigger. But what are you gonna do?
To scale with the big eagle.
No, it's not scale with the big eagle. It's probably.
No, so you was hoping it'd be to scale with the big eagle.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to have it scale with the big eagle. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Who knows? Maybe if it sells really well, they might consider that. But as far as what's on the bench, that's pretty much it. To see my bench on a Monday would be disappointing because I clean everything off. I clean everything off on Friday, and my bench is actually clean on the weekend. And then towards the middle of the week is when it's the worst. And let's see. I mean, other than what's in the video, that's pretty much it for me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Boy, you retired folks have so much to talk about.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. That's it. I can't.
Stage one.
We can't make up fake news now, can we?
Yeah. There's stage one.
That is huge, Lou.
Yeah.
It is. It reminds me of the cannon Captain Kirk made on one of the shows.
There you go. I need to wrap it.
It's like a bamboo tube.
Some cold
diamonds in it. Yeah, that's pretty big.
Somebody was saying, you're not used to not building sci-fi stuff, and so I rationalized this by saying that's the Saturn V from that episode of Star Trek where they had to go back in time.
Yeah.
So it's actually a Star Trek model.
That's right. That was Simon Earth. That was
yes.
Simon Earth. Yeah. Boy, I knew that. Go figure.
Congratulations.
And I only remember that for two reasons. It was very much like a 007 type of episode, and Terry Garr was in it when she was like 17 or 18 years old.
And it was actually a pilot. It was actually a pilot for a new series.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was a backdoor pilot for a series that would have starred Gary Seven and Terry Garr doing that type of mission week to week.
Wow, that would have been actually pretty cool.
A little bit too Doctor Who, though.
Right. All right, let's see. Moving on, and oh gosh, this is boy, I need a control person because this is a lot of work to do.
Engineer.
I need an engineer. I don't pay. I don't even pay in cases of beer. So this is this is not what I wanted. Okay, what happened here?
These are not the pictures you're looking for.
Yeah, I just want to bring it up, and I thought I was bringing it up. This is actually to introduce you, Phil, because you're like practically at the top of the page here, and I think it's going to load up shortly. Here's your little tank.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. It's loading up right now. Look at how detailed and fine work that is for being so tiny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No rivet counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good.
So that's a captured one, is it?
Yes.
I was just counting the rivets on it. That's all.
There's one missing on the second track.
So explain yourself there, mister.
What? I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, you did everything right. This is actually very cool.
I have to say I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It was a last minute finish up last night, to be honest. That all that was done. It was about 1:30 in the morning this morning. So I'd actually seen a build of a 35th scale one online, and I did take most of my cues for the weathering from that. So I can't lay claim to having all the original ideas on the weathering, but the little logo there, that's actually a real logo for the captured ones. But of course, there's no decal, so I had to hand paint that. Which, as you can appreciate, at that size, is I was a little bit cross-eyed after doing one of those each side. But it's actually, considering the age of the kit, which is the old Matchbox 176 scale kit, I haven't added much in the way of detail. I've refined a little bit, but mostly the detail there is what comes on the model, and it's really, really good. So
I like how you did the exhaust there.
Thank you. That's that was loads of these AK interactive rust.
Yeah, I gotta try that someday.
Paints.
We don't have any. I don't have any way to get the
really good, that stuff. Yeah, and and then just a very light dry brush over with the where is it? Vallejo metal color steel.
Oh yeah, that stuff.
That's really good for dry brushing. So yeah, that's
what is the whiter color that's in the cracks?
Oh right, okay, wash. Yeah, that's Flory wash. The wash is I mainly use that, which is the grime, for the overall wash. I'll put blobs of that around in very strategic locations where I want a bit of a lighter wash mixed in with the grime. The dark bits on the sides around by the main wheels was the black wash, little bit of black wash, and there's also some dark dirt. And these are water-based clay washes,
Right.
from Flory. So, because they're water-based, you potentially, I would have thought you could get them imported, because there's nothing toxic in them or harmful. So, but I recommend them. I'm always using them. They're excellent washes. So yeah, that
diorama set up here.
yeah, that's the base that comes with the kit. I've actually done a little bit more on the base. I don't know if you can see. I've put a little bit of soot staining around the window now, so it looks like the building's burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's I'm rather happy with how that's turned out. I'm probably going to go back and put some stowage on the B1, because it you see reference pictures of it, and there's like they've got jerry cans strapped to the top and stuff like that.
Not deferring from the actual work you've done on the tank, but I kind of like what you've done with the wall at the back.
Oh yeah,
it's really good.
That's the again, that was like lots of different, washing with buff and whites and off whites and
but really, really authentic. It really looks really good. The wall does. I like the wall.
Thank you. Yeah, again, I was really pleased. It's not often out the way you envision it, but this is one of those things where it, I went for a look and I actually got it. And the only thing is, I need to do the ground now, because the ground is a bit sort of shiny and unrealistic. So I'm going to do a bit of work on the muddy ground.
We need to doll it up a little bit, is what we're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if I'll show you this is if it lets me. Is it going to? No, I don't. Oh, yes, it is.
I just realized why you work in such small scale. You have a little closet on an island.
But I have probably an impending disaster with all the models behind me. They're sort of looming and leaning a bit. So
that's by stash falling and crushing. It could be worse.
Yeah. There's a shot of my workbench. I have to keep the actual bench bit a bit clear, because that's where I have my keyboard as well. But yeah, that's the. That's
found glued to his table.
Yeah.
Dave is asking, where's the whisker?
Sorry. And I've been working.
Cat hasn't given up any whiskers, has he?
No. It's just yeah. No, you can tell by the state of my arms, I haven't been able to get any more off her.
Yeah, Dave. He's had enough of this model building stuff.
I did want to share this with you, because I'm rather pleased with how this one's going. If it comes up. At one of the model shows, I bought a Zvezda Jagdpanther.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is, it's actually a snap together. But I decided I'd put Zimmerit on it as well. Now that's 1/72 scale, so again, it's quite a small one. So I did put some Zimmerit on it. I'm going to just get to the point where we are now.
The thing I love about tanks is the fact that you buy the kit spanky new and it looks great when you put it together, and then you destroy it with paint.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of my models.
Let's see if I can show this one. Put a bit more paint on it. The only thing that's missing off this one now is the washes, the dirt wash. So this is grime and dust washes. So
What is the thing with the tanks? Why do so many people want this dirty, used, broken down look? And you don't see many people doing like as a tank comes off the production line. Is it more hard or intricate to do the?
You take them out in the field, and it doesn't take them long to get grimy.
It doesn't take long to get knocked up, especially in wartime.
I just wondered why a lot of people went for the destroyed look.
Well, they're not like fire engines. They're not cleaned up every week. I mean, they're.
Well, you do when you get it back to the base.
Yeah.
To a base, they'll come with a water truck and hose it down, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
Mostly to get the dirt out of from under the bogies and that. Yeah. So you don't want to throw a track, so you want to use a high pressure hose to clean the mud and the grit and the stones out of the track. But
plus, I would imagine the dirtier and uglier it is, the easier it is. The more effective camouflage it is.
Yeah, you don't want something shiny reflected.
There is another thing as well. When you really dirty up a tank, it covers a multitude of sins.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's why I think the worst thing to have to build is exactly what Bob does so well, and that's the shiny aluminum airplanes.
Yeah.
And it's like that shows every scratch and dent and seam line, and like you said, when you do a tank, you could just do an experiment in weathering.
Yeah. You make a mistake, it's battle damage.
Tell you're wrong.
Yeah, any little damage or glue fingerprint, it doesn't matter because looks worn.
Yeah.
My hat's off to people who can make shiny and brand new. I just can't do it.
Yeah. The closest I got to that, I'll just show this, is this
arrow.
It's a Red Arrow's Fallen Gnat. And I wanted to go for the glossy finish.
Yeah.
And I did have a minor disaster because after I'd sprayed the gloss onto it, so it was reasonably soft. Yeah, I dropped it.
Been there.
So yeah.
And it picks up all the lint.
Not quite the. Well, I actually caught it, and that's what did the damage. So I actually had to strip it back and redo the gloss. You can still see some areas where it's, I think, just there.
Well, don't point it out.
No. It's you expect to so that's just to show that it's really, really difficult getting the a really pristine finish on something. A gloss, shiny finish. And I have to say, I am in awe of people that can pull off that perfect finish on the cars or the motorbikes or every time. It's like, that's something for me to aspire to. But in the meantime, I'm going to do dirty. I was just thinking, actually, earlier on it was mentioned there was paper modeling groups. I was thinking, the group of paper modelers a sheaf?
No, they're a ream.
Oh, they're a ream. Oh, yes, right.
No,
it's a
they're
ream.
not, a choir.
And if you get 10 reams, you get a case.
Wow. Wow. You know what? Just as Randall needed to be here, his spirit has come. If I was a medium, I'd exercise him. Is that it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Went to a model show last weekend at Milton Keynes, and I think I shared on the Facebook page the temperatures we were suffering. But
yeah, we're sending everything we get. We're sending them to you.
Yeah. Well, it was apparently they had the heating on in the building.
Right.
It was broken. They couldn't turn it off.
I don't know. Lately, the posts coming from England have all been on sunny days. It's like something's wrong here. I got the British weather, and you guys got our weather.
Yeah.
Well, apparently we sent up the RAF to intercept this bright orange ball that was floating in the sky.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've heard it's actually a brilliant sight.
Half of the gingers in Ireland went up in smoke.
It's funny. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Really. Yep.
All right, very good. I just want to bring something up. Carwin, he's recovering. He's been ill, but he's recovering. And be sure to tell Lou I have begun his RD build, and I'm feeling a bit better. There'll be a video coming soon.
Yay!
So what normally it's taken him a week to do something that would have taken him a day. So he's on the mend, and he's trying to do that. Okay, so let's see. I got something here. Do I have some here? I do. Oh, of course it goes. Every time I click on the Facebook, it pops out of the picture. This is transitional modeler. This is the first time I did a first ever plane build. His 48 scale B-17. I just wanted to show this off for being a first timer on an airplane build. He's an exceptional modeler anyway, you know. But I think he's done all right, huh? What do you think, guys? Being pristine and everything.
That's looking nice.
Yeah, let's see. There we go. There's a nice picture. That's a nice B-17.
My hat's off to you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's big. I like the fact that it's 48 scale. When I do jet airplanes or airplanes of any type, I'd rather have it to be 72, not 72 scale, 48 scale. I have a 72 scale right now. I'll show, but I thought I'd show this off, being that it's a first time for this modeler building such things. Look at the molting he's got on here. He's got some good technique here.
Guys, Jack, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Listen, something's come up on the phone. I'm going to have to go and deal with it. So I'm going to have to see you next time on the Hangout.
Okay, very good. We'll see you later. Bye, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
Cheers.
And we're about to wrap it up anyhow. So, all right. For me, I'm doing a big push to get the Falcon done once and for all. Do you realize I've been working on this thing since July?
Yeah.
Yes, we know.
2015.
Half that time was waiting on China to deliver. I kept going through LEDs that I had, and that's because the engines have 78 LEDs, and then you got behind those you have a couple of strips of blue LED tape, and then that's not even talking about the cockpit, and then the two headlights. So without further ado, bring my work in progress. I'm not going to show her in live because she's downstairs in the paint booth because I've got some painting to do and some weathering to do and all that stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done today. But I did post these particular pictures, work in progress. Somebody made the comment that I must have gone to the J.J. Abrams School of Photography.
School of Lens Flare, yes.
Well, no, it's just that my Android phone just is not the best camera. I'm actually considering, just for the camera, not because of the phone, just for the camera, I'm thinking of going back to Apple, getting an iPhone.
Just go buy a camera.
Buy a real camera.
Yeah.
Just go buy a real camera.
Yeah.
A real camera. Okay.
You could just try wiping the lens.
Yes, actually, yes, I have. But I got all these. This is put together with screws, the two halves. There's only a couple places where there's glue because it just wouldn't go together. It just needed to be glued to sandwich together. But
I like
here's
that directional glow you got going.
yeah, I mean, it's actually it comes off on the camera as I wanted it to. If you look at it, there is a hint of blue in there as well as that bright white. That was my whole thing about doing these engines, to do just that. And I think I was able to manage it. And here's the cockpit, of course. The cover is not, this is just the cover. And I actually glued this to the clear part. And the clear part had these grooves just like this does, and it actually looks pretty cool. And I'm now thinking, and of course I have the front on too, and it needs to finish painting as well. I was thinking that clear part is like very clear, and righteously so. In other words, it's not distorted looking through it.
Right.
It's perfectly clear. Fine Molds did a good job on their clear parts, unlike AMT, which you look through it and it's distorted. So I'm actually considering gluing this on to the cockpit and not making it removable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm actually considering doing that. And this is the photo of the engines close up.
That's the business end.
Huh?
That's the business end.
Yeah, right. And all the parts in there, I had molded from parts because I ruined it the first set of parts. I bought the kit over again just so I could mold those up. And I made maybe about, oh shoot, could be as much as 100 of them. I have them somewhere in a bag here. That ones that didn't turn out just the way I wanted them to, so I took the best of my molds. When you do a mold job, all your castings don't come out the way you want them. You have to cast them over and over and over again, and you pick the best one that you can muster. But that's the Falcon build as you see on the other photos. It's on a stand. It's a black stand that I have up here. So I'll just reach around my. This all it is. It's just a black matte box.
My God, it's full of stars.
What's that?
My God, it's full of stars.
Well, I didn't get the field of stars that I wanted.
No, I was making a monolith joke.
Yeah.
These are two switches, one for the engines and one for the ship itself. The engines are on a separate circuit, just so that I can turn those off if I need to keep the heat level down. And I did, I think I was hanging out with Jim, and I had it on for a little bit of time. The power pack got a little warm, but that's it. The model did not get warm. It was not sending off heat. And I have a quick disconnect. This is a plug, male and female plug here. Male and female plug that one would use for this cordless phones, the batteries between the battery and phone. I bought a whole bunch of them. In fact, there is one inside the Falcon, because when you sandwich the two halves together, I have lights on both halves. So
And you got those where, Jack?
On eBay. On eBay.
I mean, how did you search those? Did you just do battery connectors, or how did you?
Cordless battery connectors, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's a great idea. I'm always on the lookout for things like that.
But they're very difficult to pull apart.
Yeah,
got to be careful because when they're put together really firmly. But this, of course, would be connected, and it'll go right up into the model. So that's another thing I wanted to experiment with, and it worked.
I think JST, if you're looking for those connectors.
What's that?
They're called JST.
They're called JST connectors? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Lou.
Writing that down.
course,
yeah, and there's 3 leads. There's 3 leads, and it worked perfectly for me because, as I said, the engines are separate from the rest of the cockpit, and of course, there's a common ground.
We're
And
all looking for that.
yeah, it turned out better than I thought it would. So that was one of my thinking to do, is to make it a quick disconnect. I have seen some people do like microphone jacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They put the female in the model, and then the male would be on the stand, and you just. And I think it was the first time I seen that was actually with Simon Merckx.
Right, but that
But he
becomes
said-
the weakest joint in your entire chain then.
Yeah, he said the flaw is they get weak very quickly. They weaken up, and if you keep plugging and unplugging it gets weak. I guess that's what he said. And it has 3 leads as well, I think.
But something like that would be great for sub-assembling. Like if
Well,
you're
you can
building a
get
saucer.
the small connectors up to about 5 or 6 connections.
Yeah, if you're building like a saucer and you want to finish it, close it up, you can run one of those connectors out and connect it into the rest of the ship as you're building it.
Exactly, because that's always been my trouble. Is that's part of my trouble and my curse between doing a Starship model and stuff is you can't help but you have to have LEDs on both halves, and then when you're trying to put them together, it's a pain in the butt. It really is. And you just lead all your leads to the common side, and then all you got to do is one of these, and you're done.
Yeah.
And that was a problem I've been working on for a while, and the solution was so ridiculously easy. And what got me to do that, there was to think about that. There was a build, and I can't remember if it was a car build or something, but I did buy the rechargeable batteries for these phones. And I looked at this, and I'm like, well, this is all fine and good, but I don't have the female part to this.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me the idea. And I found them on eBay, and it was like really cheap. I think it came from China. And I got like a bundle of 24 or 36 or something like that for a couple of bucks shipping, and it was practically free. But I saw this, and I'm like, you know what? That would make a good quick disconnect between 2 halves. And even if you were able to take the model apart in the future, which this can, because it's put together with screws, I can always go in and fix something if it needs fixing.
Yeah.
So that's that. Let's close that window up. I'm just going down the line here, and close that. You were saying something about the Saturn V. What a perfect build for a corner or between displays in your display room, and it just fills it up, and it's big, and it's just.
It's tall and skinny, and it doesn't take up a lot of room like you think it would.
Right. And you got me thinking, and I'm going to be doing. I'm probably going to be doing this while I paint. This is a 1-day build. This is a 72 scale. So
Corsair?
the Corsair. I've had this laying around. I've been going downstairs in my stash, looking around and cleaning up down in the basement, and I come across this. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build this. It's a good day build. But I am going to continue doing I showed this the Voyager off for my space build, real space build. I've always wanted to do this, and when I get my 3D printer, I'm going to build the V'ger set and put this in the middle or display this separate.
Get the little chase lights that go up on all the sides. Yeah.
So it could be sci-fi and it could be real space. Hey, talk about being practical. But you gave me the idea of, wouldn't that be kind of cool to have, because even Jim had done like a shadow box display of his paper model of the Enterprise in space dock, and I was kind of liking that too. So I did have a shuttle kit at one time, and it was totally ruined. It was under something downstairs in the basement, and it got crushed, and I gave up on it. And so I went out thinking that I could buy the 747 and the shuttle kit that I wanted. That would have been, I could have done the Enterprise that way.
Right.
And I still want to do it. I could probably find a 747 kit by the same scale, the 144 scale. So I bought this, and here I go thinking again. Used a shuttle on both the 747 as well as this, and put this in a shadow box type of thing in launch. And this is going to give me the opportunity to figure out entrails, fiery entrails.
Is that the word you want to use?
Entrails?
Might be contrails.
Entrails is what's coming out of your body. That's not the word I wanted. No, that's not the word I want to use when it comes to shuttle.
You're thinking of a new form of torture, aren't you, Jack? Fiery
No, he just believes in putting his whole guts into his build.
The chili was too strong.
What am I trying to say? Fiery trails, then. Oh, how's that?
How about just exhaust?
It's exhaust. Yeah. Okay. And it, like, you know, I'm just a LED. That's one of my, I guess, fetishes, is to light something, and that's what I would want to do, is to figure out how to light something like this. And of course, the shuttle was like a jet, like the jets do. They have the blue.
Yeah, what you do is you like cotton, color the cotton, and then you get LEDs
for the solid boosters. You want
Jack,
lots of
when
cotton
I see
with
that
very
kit,
bright
all
orange.
I see is the data list that could be.
Oh, well, you see this, it could be the day list that it could be. You know, it's funny you even mentioned that, because I was even considering casting the parts and silicone, and now you fill in the rest.
Well, I was going to say, you take your 3D printer and print your sphere for up front, and then use those parts for the rest of it.
True, that would work. This is a $40 kit.
Well, then maybe not.
I do want to put it together this way, but I do want to build that Enterprise as well. And that was, I did have that kit, and it was totally destroyed. And I'm like, you know what? I just threw it away because it wasn't worth salvaging. I started working on that a while ago, and I don't know what, it just got away from me. And I looked at my seams; they looked horrible, and it's just. No, it was just nothing that I wanted to work through. So, what is this? Oh, is this it? No, that's not it. Is this it? No, that's not it either. Oh, here it is. The other runaround for doing the Enterprise, I bought this too. I'm bound not to be melting any of these. Because it's not Star Trek, that's why. So I got this too, and this is a really big box. Yeah. It came together. It came from the same vendor. It came from
somebody posted a picture of a finished one of those that really looks nice.
Yeah, it comes from Bob's hobby shop, Mark Twain in St. Louis, and. To give you an idea how big this box is. What do you think, huh?
The big box, Jack.
The big box. It's not as big as yours, though. You got a bigger one.
I wasn't going to brag.
But I looked on the package. It's just over 1 meter long. So... That's a big kit. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a long-term thing.
That's not vertically in the corner, is it?
No, but you can put that over a window.
True.
Yeah. I'm going to be building a new workbench. This bench that I have right now is to do something like that, and then do builds in between it. I found that out when I was doing the Falcon, that when I wasn't doing the Falcon kind of like kicked around here and there, and I didn't like that. If I have a longer workbench that have like these stations in it, then I don't have to put things away, because I'm not very good at putting things away. Because when I put them away, as Jim knows, I put them away.
They stay away.
So I'll never find them again. There have been so many parts. In fact, I think it was something about the Falcon that I put away and I couldn't find, and it turned out in the most unlikely places. And I'm like, when I found it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I put it for safekeeping, but I didn't remember where I put it. But if I have like these, like a longer bench that I can say, okay, I'm going to devote this much space for this build, so much, and just go down a line and work on either electronics if it moves me during the week, and then the weekends I do an actual build. But that's going to be coming to here. Boy, selling a house does all kinds of wondrous things to your hobby. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And so I think it's time. It's 2 hours now. It's time to wrap this.
Pull the plug.
For the day and for the week. And I'd like to thank everybody who participated in the Sweet Falcon Jack. Thank you, George. That engine looks fantastic. Thank you, Dave. In real life, you'd have to, wear your Eclipse glasses to look at it. So it's pretty darn bright. It's hard to believe that, one LED grouped together can be so much light. Your dad was a ball turret gunner for that. That was the B-47 comment, I believe.
Yeah.
And very cool, George. Good for your dad. Thank you for his service, for sure, in World War II. And that will be about it for the chat. So George showed up. He's at work, but he tuned in just to listen between customers. He typed away some comments. And thank you for your participation always, George. Sorry you couldn't make it, Dave. Of course, you've got your errands to run, and even our moderator, one of our moderators from the Facebook community, Dirk, showed up. And made a few comments. And who else? You were on there too, saying Phil. Didn't see any of the Ken. The two Kens didn't show up, but Carwin showed up. Thank you, Carwin. Hope you feel better, and hope you get to, do what you need to do to get better. And also, hey, the best medicine is sniffing glue. So don't forget.
Because that causes laughter.
Yeah, that's true. When you make a mistake, that's what you got to do is laugh. It's the best medicine, and that's all the participants on the what do you call it, the live chat. I'd like to thank Heath for stopping by and interrupting all the time, and I'd like to thank Harry, the new face, and you get on a block. You see, Bernie, didn't take long, and Bernie, thank you for stopping by as well.
No worries.
And who else was here that I guess the usuals will be Jim and Lou, Jamie, and Phil. Thank you all for stopping by as well and participating. And this has been fun. This was a good one. Do you think this is going on as one of the better ones?
Yeah, time flew.
I always say that at the end.
They're like you can't pick a favorite.
Yeah, that's right. I just think highly of you guys. That's why. I think is a good one. Anyway, moving on. Tomorrow we're going to have the Sunday Hangout. Jim and I haven't talked about what we're going to talk about. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something more specific. Today is more kick back, relax, show and tell, what we did in the second grade. And also on Sunday, something a little more specific. So we kind of muddle through something and maybe learn something from each other. So we haven't figured out, but if you want to join us then, again, the live chat will be open and you can still participate and give us ideas even. And we'll figure something out. And 2 weeks from today, we'll have another Across the Pond. Spring, as I heard, is promised, but I heard it was canceled because Persephone hasn't come back from Hades, and Hera's a little pissed off. So that's that, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Happy modeling, everyone. Good day.
Good day.
Good day.